Well, just as quickly as Paul Skeens struck out his first two batters with 100-mile-an-hour pitches, the Astros saw the end of the first half. Tonight, we're going to grade another section of this Astros team, the bullpen, the reliable bullpen, one of the best in the game. Let's get going right now.
Jainer Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on X at Eric Talks Stros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can they find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on X, Instagram, and TikTok. They can find me at Stros411 on X and on Facebook, and at Wheelhouse Media Company on iHeartRadio, also on Spotify and YouTube. Look, I'm always positive, always Stros.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to us. Go and make us first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast, go and check us out. Today's episode is sponsored by the All-Star game, where all the best players go there except for Clayton Kershaw, and they show their best talents out there. And just I know that Jeremy Pena and who's the other guy that's not going to be pitching for the Astros?
Hunter Brown
are not going to be pitching, but maybe we'll get to see Josh Hader on the mound. But Josh Hader is kind of the central topic of today's discussion, the bullpen. The bullpen has been kind of the surprising strength for this Astros team this year. A lot of us were like, well, you let Ryan Presley go. You let a lot of these guys go. Who's going to be in the bullpen? And a lot of guys have stepped up so far this year. Are the Astros going to update anything in their bullpen at the trade deadline? And we'll go and continue looking at the prospects that the Astros have drafted. But guys, thank you for making us your first listen every day.
Yeah, this is an exciting time of the year for a lot of people, a lot of fans, getting to see their favorite players out on the field. Unfortunately, Jeremy Pena out with the injury. Obviously, Hunter Brown pitched Sunday. And like you mentioned, Josh Hader. But, Ohtani, Judge, Acuna Jr., Paul Skeens, Tarek Skubal, a whole cast of characters that a lot of these guys are probably going to make a push and a bid for the Hall of Fame at some point. But in order to get into any kind of conversation like that, you have to be someone who's a workhorse and a part of a team and a culture like the Houston Astros. It really helps, I think. The Astros bullpen, Eric, has been absolutely phenomenal and really has had a heavy dependence on them because of the lack of scoring in this offense. This is not the highest scoring offense in baseball. We know that they, when you look at home runs over the season, they're just now getting to about halfway. They're about 15th or 16th with 110 home runs. So they don't score a ton of runs. Right. And because of that, your pitchers are called upon not just to get outs, but to keep runs off the board. And I think they've handled this job admirably.
Yeah, if you look at the Astros bullpen, the strikeouts per 9 innings, they are averaging 10.52. That is the best, not in the American League. That's the best in baseball. Pretty close behind them are the Blue Jays with the 9.86. Then you go with the Orioles, 9.66. But everything that the Astros bullpen is doing is pretty good. You've got the Astros with the 3.30 ERA. That goes for third best in baseball. If you're looking at the whip of the bullpen, they have the best whip in baseball with a 1.14. The Giants trail them at 1.16, then the Braves. Then if you're looking at batting average allowed, they're at 214. The Blue Jays are second with 217. So there's a lot of things that the Astros bullpen, despite what's happened in the past, 6 game, the Astros bullpen has been on fire. Josh Hader was perfect in save situations. I know he blew a save the other day, but still, this is a different guy than what we saw last year. I don't know if last year was just getting accustomed to a new team, the whole Ryan Presley situation. Something was up last year, but he is the leader of this bullpen. Then you have Brian Abreu. I'm still getting Bobby and Brian Abreu confused, but Brian Abreu is doing awesome. Then you have all these other guys that are coming out of nowhere, like a Kurt, and then you have Brian Keane, and then you have a whole bunch of other names that are coming up.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what it takes. It takes a cast of characters. It takes a
Right.
team, not just the back end of the bullpen, but from the guy that comes in after the starter all the way through the middle relief. It also depends on, some of it hangs in the balance of when Joe Espada puts them into the game. And I think Joe Espada's done a really good job, Eric, of putting the guys in positions to succeed. And look, Brian King, for a while there, he had a streak of not allowing any runners to cross home plate. Every time he got on the mound, he had runners in scoring position. And I think he went 16 straight outings without allowing one of those runners to cross home plate. So that right there, to me, if you're going to grade this bullpen to me gets an A+. I think overall, especially with the amount of injuries they've had to deal with from the starting standpoint. You have guys that have been in the bullpen. They've started all these different aspects that they've had to take on. And that, I think that shows amount of leadership, not only from the veterans, but also from the pitching coaches and just the culture that they have here in Houston. And while they may not rank number one in all the categories, this is still, I think, one of the top 3 bullpens in Major League Baseball right now.
Yes, a couple of people in the chat are saying that Josh Hader is still perfect. He is not perfect. He is 25 out of 26 in saves this year, but he has a 2.53 ERA. He's 5-2. He's got where's strikeouts? 65 strikeouts in 42 2/3 innings. So he's definitely getting strikeouts, and he's doing it without relying on the fastball. This is something that he's kind of doing. He's kind of learning that as a closer, you don't have to always rely on the high heat. You can kind of just rely on your other breaking pitches to set up the fastball. And I think we're seeing that a little bit with Brian Abreu as well, and some of the other guys. I know that Keane had a couple bad games, but recently he's been doing a lot better. But you've had a lot of guys come up, and you're like, who are these guys? They're not going to do well, and they come up and they do well. And it just seems like, I don't know what Joe Espada is telling these guys or what's going on, but it just seems like whoever they bring up in a bullpen, most of the time they're going to get it done. Not all the time, but this bullpen has really impressed. And with that being said, I just don't see that they're going to go out, and there's not a big need to upgrade this bullpen as it is.
Yeah, there are some people that see arms that they may possibly go after. It all depends on who you are going to put in the bullpen whenever some starters come back, whenever they get stretched out. But yeah, I think they need more of a starting arm. It would be nice to get another left-hander in here. Gosh, they actually have 5 left-handers on this staff. So it's not like they're in short order like they were when Dusty Baker was like, hey, man, I bet
need
you
one lefty. And it can get one
he
lefty.
Needed one lefty. He looks at that roster. He's like, dang, they got 5 now. I couldn't even get one. So with that being said, going forward, the need for another starter, a 3 or 4 guy, I think is more important. I believe you are correct on that assessment there. But the Astros have, again, one of the best bullpens, and you have guys like Brandon Walter, who we thought was going to be a bullpen guy, has made some starts. You mentioned Brian King, Caleb Ort. You talk about Jason Alexander, Eric, making starts, but he's in the bullpen. Hector Neris was brought back, He has 3 innings pitched right now and 4 strikeouts. So,
and Brett, this is exactly the point. He struggled all year with 2 teams. Nearest
right.
it, and then he comes back with the Astros. Everything is fixed. There's some type of magic going on here. We'll go and continue this conversation on the Locked On Astros podcast next.
Look, if you want to be as excited about supplies for your plumbing, HVAC, and electrical needs as Eric is about this bullpen having hectonaries, then you need to go to supplyhouse.com. Go to supplyhouse.com and use the code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's right. I mean, look, if you're a trade pro, you know what it's like going to these supply houses and you can't really find the part you have. You got to go to 5 others all around the city, burning your gas, burning your job hours. And no more do you have to do that. It's an easy to use website, over 200,000 parts from 400 plus brands. You'll find exactly what you need. And that's 5% off your first order. That could be a huge discount and mean big money in your pocket as a contractor. So go to supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies that are just a few clicks away. Trade pros, if you're looking for that extra edge, the free Trade Master program is there for you with exclusive perks, dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage of it. So use the promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com.
Hey guys, go ahead and make us your first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts, go ahead and check us out. Tariq Skubal. I know if Hunter Brown was available, he might have got the start, but he's already put the AL in a 2-0 deficit in this game. I mean, this one counts, right? This is going to determine the home field advantage.
No, Eric, it doesn't count anymore. No, it doesn't count. No,
sorry, I was going back in time.
But look, man, I don't know, man. I don't get excited for All-Star weekend or the All-Star game like I did growing up. To me, there's too much pomp and circumstance before. It's like, can we just play the game? Can we, and I will say this, the hats don't look as bad on the players as they do on me. Like, I put that All-Star hat on. I thought it looked terrible. I was like, this is the ugliest hat ever made. Now, on the players, I guess it looks different maybe because they're Mystique, they're Major League players, whatever. But the All-Star game is just, it just misses on so many levels. But it's really hard to ask guys that are playing 162 in the middle of a season to play in a game that counts and to go all out and to have a game plan. It's really not. That's not a good thing. That's not a recipe for success, because they have a duty to their team, to their city, to be healthy. And so the home run derby, I thought, was a big swing and miss this year. They should have had a swing off at the end of the home run derby. They didn't do that. Jazz Chisholm should have never been in the home run derby. It was not, I don't know, man. Like all this stuff, like, you want there to be, because we got great players. This is a great time to be a baseball fan. No matter what team you're a fan of, there's dudes that are studs out there, but the All-Star game is like, for me.
What about the Big Dumper actually winning the All-Star game? And I love the fact that Vinny,
I hate we called him that. I hate that nickname. But go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Vinny Pasquini, whatever his name is the first baseman with the Royals. He actually had a great tweet. He's like,
what do you
how dare this guy have one of the best nicknames in baseball, be a catcher who can hit home runs, play a premium position, have everything going for him. And it was like just basically a jealousy rant, but it wasn't meant to disrespect him, but the fact that he, after just being a okay catcher, all of a sudden he's become a superstar and he wins the home run derby. And I believe this is the first time that a catcher has won the home run derby. And so, don't get me wrong, I am not a Mariners fan, but what this guy is doing this year is
it's
impressive.
Huge. No, yeah, right. I mean, and I don't hate Cal Riley. for our fans and for the audience sake. But I just can't get over the name Big Dumper. Like I just like, and look, I'm all about humor. I love stand-up comedy. So it's not like I'm offended by it. I don't know. I think they even asked his mom about it, and she had something funny to say. But this is what Seattle has needed. And as much as we hate to talk about it, they've got this crazy talented pitching staff, Eric. Some of those guys have been on the IL. They're getting healthy. I mean, these guys could be getting some steam. And as I say that, Cal Riley just lined out to none other than Kyle Tucker. There you go. Kyle Tucker with a sliding catch in left field, and Clayton Kershaw loves it.
I believe he's mic'd up right now. It looks like he's mic'd up while he's pitching.
He's got an earpiece. So, sliding catch by Kyle Tucker. And then Dan Matthews from 790 asked Kyle Tucker and Bregman, so were you surprised when they moved on from you? And I'm like, what? Like, anyways, I was like, at this point in the season, like, what's the point of that type of question? But he's a Houston media guy, so it makes sense for him to bring it back to Houston. I will say this, Eric. Later on in the week, I'm going to talk to either Jimmy or Kenny or both. We're gonna get some information on these draft picks. And the reason why we're waiting till the end of the week, partly because they're both on vacation, but the other reason is because there are guys that people are asking us, are we going to sign this guy? Is this guy gonna go back into the draft next year? Because I think there's some really cool conversations like this Justin Thomas kid. People are excited about that. So we'll be getting more information to y'all about that later on the week or early next week. And that way we can have a complete conversation with the minor league experts for the Astros.
Yeah. And the Astros definitely, they did their homework this year. And I know part of what the Astros plans was to rebuild their team from the minor league system. And I know they've had to trade a lot of prospects away. And I guess this goes back to what we were talking about earlier. The bullpen, is this a big need? No. Is the starting rotation a big need? Maybe. It'll be nice. I know that Christian Javier has begun his rehab assignment. It looks like Luis Garcia is about to begin his rehab assignment. So it looks like some of the starters are on the way back. So like we talked about yesterday, what's the biggest need right now? What are the Astros struggling with the most? And I would say it'd have to be the offense. The offense, they keep on the pitching's there, but they just can't seem to get enough runs. And I know Alvarez has been out for a long time. Jeremy Pena is out. And then now we have Jake Myers, who has been
out. Yeah.
Something crazy. Like, who thought that Jake Myers would be one of the best players on the team this year? So yes, like SFA Powerhouse says, the Astros need to go get some bats. And even if you have too many bats, you can never have too many pieces to a lineup, right, Brett?
No, yeah. And we've seen this with this marathon season. Now, I don't know that we've seen the IL bug up to this point this bad. And I think the Astros have the most players on the IL at one time for a sustained amount of time, too. So the fact that they are in first place is huge. And look, taking the 5-game lead into the All-Star break and coming out of the All-Star break straight out of the blocks against Seattle. I think Michael, one of our listeners, talked about how this has been like second or third year in a row where we've gone into the All-Star break versus the Rangers and come out versus the Mariners. It's kind of weird how that happens, but the Mariners are red hot. And that's where the Astros do have to improve at the plate. Yainer Diaz has to continue to be, hit more. Christian Walker has got to get going. This guy, if Christian Walker can get going, Eric, while these guys are coming back, while Jeremy Pena is coming back, while Jake Myers is still a few weeks out, that would be huge for this offense. Because yes, Zach Short can get a walk-off hit. Trammell can get an RBI single to tie a game, but you don't want to depend on those guys for the rest of the season. So health is your first priority. Your second priority is bringing in another bat. The problem is, who is that? But I think you got to go all in this year because I think you've got the squad to be able to do it. Why not get a Ryan O'Hearn, even if it is a rental? And then the only question is, what do you give up to get someone, and how many other teams are going to be asking the same thing?
I think we should go ahead and call him Zacharias Short because of how big he's been playing this year. So let's go ahead and continue this conversation. Thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day.
Do you ever wish managing your money felt easier? I know I do. Well, with Monarch Money, it can be. And it is. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like being in a Lamborghini of finances. That's right. You can become your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than a budgeting app. It is a complete financial command center, and you can even track all your accounts, investments, and spending all in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're building wealth. The surprising thing that I noticed about Monarch Money is you start tracking your spending. And once you do that, like, all bets are off. They can't sneak up on you with the bills because you know what's coming. And you will have more money to spend on those things that you enjoy. What is your one financial goal, and how serious are you about it? Monarch Money can help you figure that out. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com at LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year.
Oh, sorry. I was watching the All-Star game, and future Astro Ryan O'Hearn is up.
I see that. Yes. Good job. I love it. And did he get a hit? Yes. Oh
no! It
was
a little bit. It was foul, and he ended up. I don't want to jinx. I mean, it's an All-Star game, but he ended up striking out.
Well, that's not jinxing if it's already happened.
Well, whatever. But I don't want to spoil it, I guess.
But you just did. So forget you, Eric, in your fast feed.
Well, guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Go ahead and subscribe to us. Go and help us get to 15,000 subscribers. It only takes a second. There's a little red button down there. Just go and press it and go and make us your first listen every day. Ryan O'Hearn is somebody that we've been kind of talking about. He's in his final year of his contract. He's batting .286 with 11 home runs. He's got 34 RBIs. He's got an 840 OPS with a OPS plus of 139. So the question is, how much would you give up to get a bat like Ryan O'Hearn? He's an all-star. The numbers aren't eye-popping. It's not Shohei Ohtani type numbers or big dumper numbers. But what would you give up for the type of player?
How many times are you going to say it on a show just to get under my skin?
Yes, exactly. Now that I know that's what it'll take.
Oh man, well that's okay. It's all good. I'm really thrown off right now. So the Houston Astros in the second half, Eric. Obviously, the players aren't going, oh, who are we going to get at the trade deadline? That's for the fans to worry about. But Dana Brown, he's probably burning up phones. All-Star Week is a break for the players. It's not a break for front offices. And so, they are testing the waters. They're reaching out. They're asking if they have interest in this. Also, not only that, they're deciding on, are they going to sign prospects? There was a guy they signed today as an unrestricted free or as an unsigned free agent. So they're making all these moves. They're bringing in all these players into their system. So Dana Brown is cooking right now, and so I just hope that he continues to cook up the right formulas for this team to go forward and be successful, not only in the second half of this season, but going forward the next couple of years.
I know that Willard's always bringing up Lewis Robert Jr. and
he loves him. He can't stop talking about him.
I know. He also a rental, and he might be a little bit cheaper rental because he's having a down season, but he has a 0-0 WAR. I repeat that several times with a 190 batting average. He does have 9 home runs with 22 stolen bases. He's just not having a good season. His OPS plus is 67.
It's like, war. What is it good for? For Robert, absolutely nothing.
I'm just saying, like, the White Sox are not going to be like, well, he's having a down season. We'll just go ahead and take John Singleton. They're going to want a
John Singleton's not even on the roster.
no, just a player, like a minor league player. You get what I'm trying to say.
I get what you're trying to say, but no one's, no offense, Eric. And I'm trying to be as respectful as I can. People are not calling about John Singleton.
Well, he's had back-to-back games with 5 RBIs.
In AAA. Thank you. He's a great quadruple A player. And yes, he got a key walk in a game, and he hit 2 home runs in his first game. I get it. I know it. I love this story. Nothing against John, but the dude still has a hard time hitting a strike in the strike zone. Okay. As a musician, please don't sing. You know what? I've got my in-ear monitors and I can hear myself, Mr. Powerhouse, while you brag about your 150,000 subscribers. Let me have my 15,000, almost 15,000 subscriber, 15 seconds of fame, please, sir. Thank you.
Somebody, is that Lion? It says Gordon, Walter, and Gusto have gained a ton of value this year. Yes, yep. I think so. I don't know if Walter has any trade value because he was basically a free agent at the beginning of the year. Gusto is somebody that might have some, but I think Gordon is definitely somebody that might get traded at the trade deadline because of his pedigree. He does have a not top prospect. He wasn't a top, but he was like a former top 10.
Yeah,
so he does have that name.
I mean, you know, Gusto is a name. Miguel Yola is a name. People right. that would be interest to another team. And with all due respect, I think it's DeLion, not duh. Lion. Anyways, just saying. That's what. Yeah. Come on, put some respect on his name, Eric. Dude, I'm totally messing with you tonight. Okay. I'm feeling good tonight. So, anyways, yeah. So, in this draft, Eric, they got what 4 or 5 prep players, out of high school. We don't yet know if all of them are going to sign, but I think they are pretty confident in their top few guys that they signed, So it's just, it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of this draft. We've already seen Bryce Matthews is there. My question to you is this, Eric, talking about draft, Bryce Matthews, Dana Brown's first round pick to make it up. Buy or sell, Bryce Matthews is the opening day second baseman in 2026. Well, if there's a season.
All right. Yeah, we'll have to address that topic fairly soon too. But I would say buy it if he has a strong second half, because I think the Astros are really they're really gonna buy into Jose Altuve playing left field, and so you don't really have an answer unless Zacharias Short really becomes the answer. You have to put him somewhere. But I just think that you don't really have – you have some prospects that can play second base. Mauricio Dubon, he could technically still play second base. But I think that you already have his clock ticking, so you might as well go ahead and have him up here and get him some playing time. But I think he may stumble a little bit out of the gate. He's going to probably do what we saw with Cam Smith, struggle a little bit, but once he gets his feet under the ground, I think he's going to strike out a lot, but I think he's going to figure it out at the big league level, if that answers your question.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely. No, I just I feel like he has to have a strong second half. And just kind of update you, Luis Garcia struck out 3 over 2 scoreless innings in his second rehab start yesterday in the Florida Complex League. So that is definitely a good sign for Luis Garcia. You need these guys having small amounts of success, waiting for them to get stretched out, because if they can get stretched out, someone like Garcia, and he can come back and contribute, then that is huge. Here's some interesting draft trivia for you, Eric. Let me ask you. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to tell you 3rd round, 5th round. Okay. 3rd round or 5th round. Jerry Pena Jerry Pena and Hunter Brown. Which one was drafted in the 3rd round? Which one was drafted in the 5th round?
Well, I actually know this. So Hunter Brown was drafted in 3rd round and Pena the 5th round.
Nope.
I got it backwards.
Hunter Brown was in the 5th round. Yeah, that's okay. Now, I would have known this. Well, I knew the Hunter Brown. I wasn't sure about Pena. I'll give you 2 other options. Okay. Jake Myers and Josh Hader. Okay. 13th round and 19th round.
Myers was the 9th. Which rounds did you say?
13th round and 19th round.
Myers was 19th and Hader was the 13th.
Nope, it was flipped.
Okay.
Jake Myers was picked. No, I'm just saying. So Jake, and I'm actually going somewhere with this. Mauricio Dubon was drafted in the 26th round. So you have guys that it doesn't necessarily matter what round they're picked in. It matters on how they actually perform on the field.
Right.
Because expectations don't mean anything. And I'm fully confident that whoever the Astros get, no matter where they pick them, that, like you said, they've done their homework. And so I think it's always fun to talk about these guys again towards the end of the week next year or next week. We'll get some more details on them. And check out the YouTube short that Jeff did from Locked On Guardians. He's one of the draft experts for Locked On. He talked about Xavier Nayans, who I think we kind of stole from Seattle.
Yes. So definitely tomorrow we're going to talk about the big elephant in the room, which is we're going to grade the Astros offense so far. This is probably going to be a deep dive into what's going on, what needs to be done, and what position can we really address. So this is what we're going to be talking about on tomorrow's Locked On Astros podcast. Guys, thank you for making us your first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts, go and check us out. And for Brett and myself, we're going to go and continue watching All-Star Game. Thank you for making us your first listen, and we will see you tomorrow.
Go Stros.